I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest night. You are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend. I know you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Can you all lift your voice and sing? All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so good. And every breath that I am able, yes, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Assignment. Run that track. Assignment. Hallelujah. Can we run the track now? You know, there's an assignment on our lives as a people. And God knows the plans that He has for us. These plans are good, and it gives us hope and a future. So I want you all to get ready as you step out in your assignment when you leave this conference. Are you ready to do that? Woo! There's a battle going on. I have an assignment. Come on now. Try to block my destiny. I have an assignment. But guess what? I have got to keep my focus. Don't get drawn into the road, 'cause it is just another distraction. Trying to keep me off my mission. The assignment. Hey, the assignment. The assignment God has for me is greater than what man may think of me. But while I'm trotting through, there ain't nothing that they can do. There's nothing. Through the valley though I walk, my master has all the talk. I am following his instructions. Winning souls for Christ is my mission. Come on, ladies, are you ready? Ooh. 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 Don't run away from what the Lord is calling you to. He'll give you grace and the strength you need to go through. Be not on your own frame of mind. God will lead you in his own time. Don't look left, don't turn right, walk by faith, not by sight. Victory! So no matter what the naysayers say, it's time to move into your assignment and what God has put on your heart. Ain't no stopping us now. Come on, Caribbean. Are you ready? Come on, say, let me see you do. Move. Move. God's people, are you ready? Movement of the people. 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 Let me hear you do it. Come on, everybody. Movement of the people. Yeah. Movement of the people. One more time. Movement of the people. Yeah. Movement of the people. So don't run away from what the Lord is calling you to. He'll give you grace and the strength you need to go through. Be not on your own frame of mind. We're done. God will lead you in his own time. Don't look left, don't turn right, walk back, make up my side. He'll give you victory. God bless you and keep you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you.
But as the experienced performers that you are, and that very much, it's again, I'm going to apologize to Carlene, our performer here, and the backup singers, and to you here. Something is wrong, and we just need to have it worked out. I'm not certain what it is. But Salas, might I invite you, Mr. Hamilton, to come on up and bring greetings. I know the microphone or the sound system will work for you because you're handsome, you're bright. You didn't give me any trouble at all on campus. As a matter of fact, now that professor is here, I think I could ask him to just make sure that the punishment you should have had from 1988 to now, you get it in one fell swoop. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Salas Hamilton, Specialist Communications, CARICOM Secretariat.
I'm almost tempted to ask, which one of you don't know me? Honorable Pernell Charles, Minister of Labor and Social Security, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn, State Minister of Labor and Social Security, or should I say Permanent Secretary? Professor Williams, Principal, who came after I left. He came in '96. University of the West Indies, Mona Campus Principal. Mr. Hernandez, Secretary General, Inter-American Conference on Social Security. Mr. Regis Chapman, Representative and Country Director, World Food Program. Joanna Henriquez, ILO Office of the Caribbean. Mrs. Dear Williams, Chief Technical Director, the Ministry. Dr. Valda Henry, Deputy Governor, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. Deputy Mayor, Richard Vernon, Montego Bay. Reverend Time, Chairmen and Heads of CARICOM Social Security Organizations, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and of course those who are joining via the live stream. It is truly a privilege and pleasure to bring remarks on behalf of the CARICOM Secretariat at the 31st meeting of CARICOM Heads of Social Security Organizations. For me personally, it is truly rewarding to observe how the social security organizations in the community have remained focused on the important tasks that you have been assigned, and that is providing for the people in the region in their times of greatest need. And in performing your duty, you have had to undertake responsibilities that were not planned for or part of your core function, but were critical to the well-being and survival of the people you serve. And I refer here to the special assignment that was given and undertaken by most, if not all, CARICOM social security organizations during the COVID-19 pandemic. Your performance then demonstrated your flexibility and versatility in times of crisis. And now, CARICOM social security organizations are once again being called upon to respond to the emerging demands for provision of social security services in a manner which embraces the use of modern digital technology and systems in support of a decision at the highest political level of the Caribbean community. The heads of government of CARICOM decided at their 45th regular meeting in July this year to work towards the free movement of all CARICOM nationals within the community by 31st March 2024. With this decision, it is anticipated that more community nationals will exercise their right to move in search of wage employment, and hence there will be a greater need for a social security system which operates seamlessly throughout the region. The Caribbean Agreement on Social Security accountability of social security payments. However, instead of relying on manual systems, applicants for social security benefits will expect a system which embraces technology, protects data privacy, and facilitates the prompt and efficient processing of claims and issuing of benefits in all relevant jurisdictions. It is precisely why the development of a regional social security identification mechanism is now vital. Such a mechanism could assist in facilitating real-time access to information such as contributions made and the stage at which a claim has reached within the entire process. Under the 11th European Development Fund, support is being given to the Secretariat for the development of a regional social security identification mechanism, and a task force to provide technical input and support to the CARICOM Secretariat to advance the exploration of the feasibility of a regional social security identification mechanism was launched virtually on the 20th of October 2023. This project to develop a unique regional identifier to support the portability of social security in CARICOM also comes at a time when the community is observing its 50th anniversary. And I say thanks to the Ministry for collaborating and also having a fine display of the journey that started 50 years ago when the founding fathers, Prime Minister of Jamaica, Manley, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Eric Williams, from Guyana, Prime Minister, or was he President then, Fox Burnham, and from Barbados, Prime Minister Errol Barrow would have signed the Treaty of Chaguaramas, 4th of July, 1973. And I did a bit of research wondering why 4th of July, 1973, when that is a date celebrated by a neighbor next door. And I realized from reading the research, it was because it was the birthday of Norman Manley. So this project to develop a unique regional identifier to support the portability of social security in CARICOM also comes at a time when the community is observing its 50th anniversary. And I use some of the words from the CARICOM Secretary General in saying that journey can be mapped from the lost ideal of a political federation to the reignition via a free trade area to the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, which created the common market 50 years ago, and then the revised Treaty of 2001, which pushed the boundaries of regional integration even further with the aim of creating a single market and economy. We need to remind ourselves of the journey from time to time that as a region we were successful in the establishment of a Caribbean Development Bank, the Caribbean Court of Justice, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility, the Caribbean Examinations Council, and so many more institutions. The objective of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy is to progressively and ultimately create a single seamless economic space within our community. Thanks for this opportunity and best wishes for your 31st meeting. Thanks to the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for the warm welcome that we have all received, and all efforts for this week. Thanks very much. I got the microphone working, Faye.
I know. It's always your mischievous self that will cause all kinds of things to go wrong in any room. Thank you so much, Salas. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, lunch will be served at this time, and I guarantee you, we will not have any audio problems during lunch. Enjoy each other's company, have good conversations, and enjoy the lovely meal. Bon appetit.
from many distant lands our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride, sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Hele, hele, bravo, open your stem, CARICOM. Leve, leve, brow, knock your drum, CARICOM. Tambo, ya tambo, awo, open your stem, CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow, raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride, sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrate in song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for CARICOM. Hele, hele, bravo, open your stem, CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow, knock your drum, CARICOM. Leve, ya tambo, awo, open your stem, CARICOM. Leve, leve, wow.
No matter where we were born, we are human beings. Same chemistry with emotions and feelings, all corresponding in love. You can't get around it no matter how hard you try. You better believe it. And if you should find out that you are no different than I, ooh, we all are one. I'll be you, you be me. Say, I'll be you, you be me. We all are one, the same person. I'll be you, you be me. We all are one.
Take a look at the world and the state that it's in today. I'm sure you'll agree we all can make it a better way. With your love put together, everybody learns to love each other. Instead of fussing and fighting, cheating, backbiting, scandalizing and hating, maybe we could have a
Mr. Catano, I saw you. You were moving. You loved it. The NDTC singers, of course, the instrumentalists are so important to this. And hiding in the, well, not really hiding, but supporting the singers and the instrumentalists, the artistic director. Marlon Sims, just wave your hand. And also a principal dancer. Next to him is Mark Finn, principal dancer with the National Dance Theatre Company and archivist. I may just love them. Sorry, I really do love them. We have two languages in Jamaica. English is our official language, and of course, the Jamaican language, which some people refer to as Patois Creole dialect, but me love it subtle, because it expresses what we want to say more than the English express it. So, finish your meal. Your dessert will be out shortly, and then we'll get on with it right after that. But I had to acknowledge the instrumentalists. What's up, Mono? Wanna go and play more? Wow. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
I'm eavesdropping on a conversation that is happening at this table, but I can't tell you everything that I have heard. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on with the program. I hope you enjoyed your main course. Dessert is there, and please watch the amount of sugar that you eat. It is indeed my privilege to introduce a guest speaker from my alma mater, of course, the University of the West Indies. Oh, everybody from the, oh my goodness. And where is Mr. Henry? Mr. Henry over here, it's principal of Samshop Montego Bay Community College. When I went across there earlier, he says, it's not only Salas was your student, you know. Let me acknowledge you, principal. Now that you're principal and I'm just Faye, I could in fact get a demerit. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker. There's just so much to be said about this gentleman, but I decided to just take some important things out to share with you. Denzil A. Williams is a renowned academic in the field of business and management. He's a professor of international business, former principal of the UWI Five Islands campus, and also the former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Industry, Academic Partnerships, and Planning at the University of the West Indies. Before joining the university, he served in the private sector as a business analyst in strategy and transformation at one of Jamaica's largest multinational corporations. Now, listen to this. He is the youngest person to be promoted to the rank of professor at the University of the West Indies Mona campus. And yes? He's an Irvinite? Huh? He studied on Irving, but he was not an Irvinite. What hall were you, Professor? Taylor. Taylor. Let's get on with this introduction. And this is the camaraderie that we have between the halls of the University of the West Indies. So let me say this again. He's the youngest person to be promoted to the rank of professor at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, and also the first person in the history of the Business and Management Department to be promoted to professor. Professor Williams has led several transformational initiatives in administrative processes, research and innovation, and teaching and learning while at the UWI. For example, he spearheaded the establishment of the first Bloomberg Finance Lab in a business school in the Caribbean. The lab went on to win an award for innovation in 2018. In addition, he led a comprehensive revision of the MBA and MSc curricula to make them more applicable to the modern workplace. He has an impressive academic resume. He obtained a BSc degree with first-class honors in economics and management studies and an MSc in international business from the University of the West Indies. In 2006, he received a PhD in international business and strategy from Manchester Business School, University of Manchester. He was a Jamaica Government Exhibition Scholar. There's just so much more I can tell you. Professor Williams has built a career in business and academia for over 22 years. He has held a remarkable record of public service, research, and scholarly work while serving on a number of boards of state entities, private sector organizations, and committees, as well as regional and international editorial boards. And if you'll allow me, I'll do another half hour of this. Ladies and gentlemen, look it up on the UWI website and help me welcome at this time Professor Denzil Williams. He's moving like Usain Bolt.
Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies. I started listening. I thought I was dead and gone to heaven, having listened to that introduction. But then I found out I was sitting beside Chancellorite, and I said, this couldn't be heaven. So I better get back to earth, yeah? So, ladies and gentlemen, one and all, initially I heard P.S. said that she had a friend who she haven't seen for 32 years, and they were all at UWI. And I looked across and I said, at UWI, I do know that we have a minimum age with which you actually come, and she said 32. So I started to wonder if you went to school at 1. but then I realized we were not breaking the rules. So I thought to myself that we all want to be like Salus when we grow up. Yeah. But to cut a long story short, I noticed that I am coming between lunch, NDTC, and the main address. And before I even say what I'm about to say, I think that Professor Nettleford would be very pleased and proud of the tribute to his homeboy, Jimmy Cliff, from the NDTC. Give them a really big round of applause. So today I realized that we do have the main address from our minister, and so I'm reminded of the Lord's Day when I'm on occasions like these. I'm reminded, those of you who, since we're in cricket season, recall the famous Jamaican cricketer, George Headley, who, as you know, has a real great prowess for batting, and anywhere he goes, people would like to see him bat. And so, on the Lord's Day, he went to the crease to bat after taking a few Jamaican shots of rum, and within a second, he was out LBW. And so the bowler went up to the umpire and said, "Umpire, Headley's out." The umpire said, "Continue playing." And so he said, "Boy, so disappointed," but he continued. And having done that, at the end of the Lord's Day, he came off the pitch, and while coming off the pitch, he said to the umpire, "Umpire, do you know Headley was actually out?" The umpire said, "I do agree he was out, but the people didn't come to see you bowl, they came to see him bat. So as a result of that, I allowed him to continue." So I am very mindful that today you came to hear the main address from our Honorable Minister. So as a result of that, I will try to make my brief comments very brief and allow us to hear our main address from our Minister. So with that said, let me acknowledge the presence of Minister Charles, Minister Dunn, Permanent Secretary, and all very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and say how pleased I am to participate in this very important forum on a very important topic. I would also like to say a heartiest congratulations to the CARICOM Social Security Organization on your 50th anniversary. I think 50 years is a very good time for reflection and also celebration. And I think we should take this time to reflect and celebrate on a very important institutional development across our region. So what I want to do, I note your topic for today, which is building sustainable and resilient security systems. And I think it is quite timely, as I indicated before, as we reflect on 50 years of celebration and the next 50 years in our life's journey. And so I want to make a few points relating to these very important ideas about social security and how we position for the next 50 years in terms of building resilient systems, etc. So, friends and colleagues, one and all, I think the idea of social security is not just for a set of technocrats who are locked in a room and do some modeling and throw some numbers out there and we go out and say it. It's everybody's business. And I would like to start there. Since social security is everybody's business, I would like to make a few comments on why everybody's business matter. And so, any nation that is really serious about development with a human face cannot escape building and maintaining a strong and resilient social security system. For, without social security, the human capital will feel unappreciated, demotivated, and eventually unproductive. With all this, the nation suffers as we will have disgruntled citizens who will wreak havoc on the land, and we will all suffer. So let us be abundantly clear that social security, as we understand it, is everybody's business. It is not just a few technocrats that is going to look into this issue, lock themselves into a room, and run actuarial models and tell us how it is supposed to be done. Social security is as human as it is technical. Therefore, if we accept that premise, that social security systems matter for human development, then the question becomes, how do we build a social security system that will last and has at its core distributive justice? And I could say a few things about distributive justice, but I will leave that for another presentation. But at the core of these social systems that we build, there ought to be the concept, the precept of distributive justice, meaning everybody must benefit and not just a privileged few. I'd like to spend a few minutes, therefore, to talk about this program and to also provide some thoughts on how we should proceed in building a social security system that is resilient, that is going to last, and also has distributive justice at its core. So if we take a look at the Caribbean today, what we're seeing is a demographic structure that is calling for early intervention in order to secure our future with a strong social security system. Let's look at some demographic data across the Caribbean. The demographic data tells us that across our 15 CARICOM states, which re-tenant, we have roughly about 19 million people tenant in these states, 19 million. But almost 1/3 of that is between 40 to 65 years and above, 1/3. Now, the naked eye will tell you that indeed we have a very young population. That's what it would say. But while this macro statistic might show that we have some time to build a social security system, since most of our citizens are young, the disaggregated figures tell a complete different story. For example, here in Jamaica, we see over 35% of our population in the category of 40 and above. We see the majority of countries, such as Barbados, Antigua, Dominica, hovering around 40% of their population at 40 and above. We see Montserrat, Salas, looking at 56% of its population at 40 years and above. When you disaggregate these statistics, what it really tells you is that we do not have time on our hand in determining and starting to build a robust social security network. So while we understand the macro and we starting to disaggregate the macro to the micro, we see that more of our people are living longer, but also they are retiring earlier. And therefore, some form of mechanisms will need to be put in place to ensure that while they retire early and live longer, longevity does not become a burden on the state. The relevant investment vehicles will have to be found today to ensure that we save today to reap the rewards tomorrow. And that's really what Social Security is all about. It therefore means that we will have to ensure the highest standards of governance, ethics, and accountability in our financial systems to ensure that persons' gratification that are delayed today will be worth it tomorrow. For the last thing that we would want to hear is that we delayed our gratification today from living a good life in order to reap the rewards tomorrow. And tomorrow comes and the rewards cannot be found. To alleviate this fear, we have to ensure that there's robust governance systems built on transparency, ethics, and accountability. These will have to be the bedrock of building any social security system across the region that is going to be robust and long-lasting. But importantly, despite the governance issue, there is also something that we have to consider when we think about social security for the decades to come. And that is the principle of burden sharing. So while we think about governance and all those things about sustainability, we have to also agree that decisions made 30, 40 years ago about our social security systems, especially, for example, generous pension benefits, these very generous post-employment benefits, and I could name a few of these companies that I sit on their boards and look at 30, 40 years ago when they gave exceptionally generous benefits to their employees in order to secure their employment. But we will have to look at those benefits now, and they will have to be revised within the context of our new environment that we're now operating in, with rising cost of living and lower paying jobs. Critically, we have to look at affordability, because affordability then is not the same as affordability now. Those of you who study these kinds of areas and look in the private sector, even state sector, etc., a significant cost driver on our P&L and our balance sheet is really post-employment benefits, pension benefits. And so these have been built up over years and years and years. And so the question therefore becomes, how do we balance those commitments that were made in those times when affordability was not an issue, with today that affordability becomes a great concern? How do we balance those, and how do we grandfather benefits that had agreed in the past and then new benefits that have to be agreed in the new environment? We must ensure that we encourage employees to invest in their future and not put all the burden on the employer and create a moral hazard problem. For sustainability and resilience, burden sharing is a very important concept that will now have to be introduced into social security systems that we are building for the future. But the premise of burden sharing does not only rest with the employee or the citizen. There is a bigger discourse that has to happen at the level of the macroeconomy as well. For if citizens are going to be able to afford their portion of the burden, we have to ensure that they are in a position where they can actually afford that portion that they're asked to pay. As such, we need to have an economy that is strong and growing in order to facilitate the growth and development and equitable distribution of the gains from growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here as a Caribbean people, and we would accept the fact that over the last 5,000 years, this region, the Caribbean region, is the only region in the world that has not seen an economic takeoff similar to what we have seen in Asia, especially East Asia, Western Europe, North America, and other areas. We have not seen that kind of economic takeoff. Our very sluggish economic performance and anemic growth achievement has led to serious social dislocation within our region. And so, if we're talking about building a social security system for the future, we have to deal with that macroeconomic issue once and for all. This is what the World Bank has to say in that regard. The World Bank recently noted that, and I quote, "Poverty projections and insights from phone and online surveys done during the pandemic suggest that the region, which is our Caribbean region, may not be making material progress with poverty reduction." That's real. They went on to note that the absence of up-to-date poverty and inequality data in the Caribbean leaves thousands, if not millions, unseen and unheard, undermining progress towards improving lives and ending poverty. The fact is that with that kind of outlook, with that kind of social problem that you have, social security systems are not going to last very long if we don't account for these kinds of social dislocation within our region and our people. So we have to do something on the macroeconomic front. We have to, on the macroeconomic front, ensure that we have a growing economy, but not just economic growth, but sustained long periods of economic growth. So you accumulate growth over time. And so what we have to do is to start to think about the levers that are important to ensure sustained levels of economic growth. So for example, in Jamaica, we're now seeing better days in terms of fiscal management of our macroeconomic affairs. There is macroeconomic stability that is almost entrenched right now in the Jamaican society. And this is because of decisive leadership and partnership among various sectors and actors within the Jamaican landscape. All our macroeconomic variables are now pointing in a direction that we can all have consensus around macroeconomic stability. However, while macro stability is necessary for the transformation of the economy, it is not sufficient. Too many times we see the macroeconomic variables all lining up in the right direction and the economic growth is happening, but as the World Bank pointed out, too few people are benefiting from that growth. And as a result of that, what you have is still a burden on the state to take care of those vulnerable. And so what I think is that we have to find a way to make the growth more inclusive, but not only inclusive, but we also have to get to higher levels of growth and sustained high levels of economic growth as well. For I've always remarked to my students when I teach that Jamaica doesn't have a growth problem. And they always say to me, "Sir, what do you mean?" And I said, well, listen, if you look at our history over the last 60 years, the truth is that once bauxite grows, tourism grows, agriculture grows, Jamaica grows. That's just the reality of our situation. But the level of growth is not high enough, and it is not consistently strong to actually get us out of where we are today. So we don't have a growth problem. What we have is a high sustainable growth problem. So that's what we have to correct, and that's what we have to address. And therefore, we need to have conditions being in place for robust economic growth. So these conditions, I want to mention just two of them, given that I'm aware that time is of the essence. These conditions that need to be sorted out in order to ensure that we can build strong and resilient social security system are built on how we generate robust and strong economic growth for a long time. We need to ensure that we move the economy, and this is not just unique to Jamaica now, but right across the region, as I indicated before, for the last 5,000 years, we're the only region that hasn't seen that kind of economic takeoff that we've seen in other parts in the world. So we need to ensure that we move away from just merely focusing on economic growth and go to what we call economic transformation, which is really moving the economy up the value chain of production and have more people with higher quality jobs and producing outputs that can attract high value in the global marketplace. In order to do this, we have to ensure that we move our economy from basic commodity-driven economies in this region to what we call the innovation-driven economies. It is at the innovation stage, friends, that we will see higher levels of GDP and allow more of our citizens to benefit from economic growth and as such be able to make their contribution to a stronger social security system. However, to get there, we have to deal with two important issues that have really bedeviled us for a long time to come. And those are issues to do with our production and productivity, and more importantly, issues to do with the training of our workforce. For too many countries across the region have too few people moving from secondary education to post-secondary education. When you look at this hemisphere from Alaska down to Argentina, this region has the lowest levels of enrollment in post-secondary education. The lowest level. It is not surprising, therefore, that this region, as I indicated before, has not seen economic takeoff, but have actually remained at the commodity-driven kind of economic management, economic performance for a long time. The data suggests, in the main, except for a few countries, Trinidad, St. Kitts, I think Barbados may be one of them as well, just a handful of countries. 2 out of every 10 students who graduate from secondary education move to post-secondary education. 2. So we have 8 people struggling on the periphery, just trying to get into mainstream society in a knowledge-driven world. They don't have any training beyond secondary education. Now that's bad for your labor force. It's extremely bad for your labor force, but also equally bad for your productivity. And if we were to juxtapose that to the developed world, North America, Western Europe, developed Asia, what we are seeing is that 8 out of every 10 students, 8 out of every 10 who graduate from secondary school move on to post-secondary education. So we can see immediately that the fundamental challenge that we have in moving this economic transformation forward has to do with getting more people at a qualified level within our workforce. So there's a serious problem that we have in terms of training for our workforce as we go forward. Our human capital has to be far more advanced than we have it now if we're going to build a stronger economy and also move our economies up the value chain and get it into the innovation level of the economy. We have to get more of our people qualified at the highest level in order to have more persons benefiting from higher wages and as such can make more substantial contribution to a robust social security system. A strong and resilient social security system is not only admirable for a brighter and better future, it is necessary for civilized society's growth and development. I will ask you, show me a society that invests in its people today and allow them to reap the rewards tomorrow, and I will show you a society that is caring, that is gentle, and importantly, a society that is productive and humane. However, while social security is important, a resilient and sustainable social security system is even more necessary today than before. For today, as I indicated before, our people are living longer and retiring earlier as well. As such, we do not want them to be a burden on the state, and more critically, we do not want them to live a life where their hard-earned income, their hard-earned production and productivity that they got in their early life cannot be sustainable in their later years. We do not wish for them to live their final days in desperate situations. So we have to ensure that while we look at person's life today, we have more of our people saved today so that they can secure a brighter future for tomorrow. Therefore, what we have to ensure that we do as a region and as different countries at different stages in their development within the region, we have to place some important caveats in place. One, we have to ensure that as we build social security systems that are resilient and robust, burden sharing is an important concept that we want to endeavor. We also have to ensure that there's a balanced approach to building the system. And a balanced approach means that generous packages that we used to give when there was affordability, we have to balance those with what is now affordable, but what is also have at its core distributive justice for all. Importantly, we have to also ensure that we have transparent and accountable systems as well. And more importantly, we have to ensure that we have a growing and strong economy so that we can support all citizens to make their contribution to social security in order to build the system. So with these elements, we can build a strong and resilient social security system across the region and support our citizens to live a better quality of life in their advancing years. Ladies and gentlemen, as I close, I will say to you, invest today to reap the rewards tomorrow. I thank you.
Prof, what time is the class tomorrow? Because this was good. And I think we should just show our appreciation one more time. This burden sharing of which you speak and this distributive justice, just speaking to allow the performers to get in place. The balanced approach kind of make me a little nervous though, because it might affect what you are currently getting as we adjust for this new format that you are talking about. Singers ready? All right, and of course I'm 40 and over. I'm in that category, so from him hit that I start fret. And Dr. Norman sit down there would even help me. And the innovative driven economy. There are just so many important things you touched on. And the singers are ready, may I? Dr. Kathy? Or you're tuning? Ready. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a taste of something that will just lift your spirit, that is a little playful. Enjoy. This was arranged by Ewan Simpson when he was the musical director for the National Dance Theatre Company. Enjoy. And then after that, Minister, after that is you. And of course, the dance you're seeing just now is Dinky Mini, one of our traditional dances. Thank you so very much. That was really lovely. You're coming to fix it for me, or want me to carry it over there? You're coming? Right? I'll move while you move. Let me see if you can move the mic while I'm talking. Come now. Yes. You can have a little fun in... I must tell you, for those who are non-Jamaicans, and even some of the Jamaicans who are here, the National Dance Theatre Company, when you see the full company of dance and music and songs, him not like me, you know, July to August each year. He's trying his best, and the sound has improved, so let's just say thanks to the hard work they had to put in to make sure that that happened. Yes, July to August each year, they have the annual season, and that is something, if you've never seen, you need to come to Jamaica to see, and the person we want to see now is our minister. Minister, Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., MP, JP. Might I invite you up here, because everybody has been waiting to hear what you're going to say, and if you're going to respond to the professor in any way, shape, or form, because him said enough things, and we want to know what time is class tomorrow.
Thank you to our Auntie Faye, who everybody knows as one of the most valuable possessions for our country. Yes. I must say, I got caught up a while ago. I felt like I was at pantomime. And to our guest, it is definitely an experience which you're getting a taste of. So you may want to come back at that time to really devour the entire experience of pantomime. Let me acknowledge, of course, our Master of Ceremonies, also my Minister of State, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn. Yes. And my Permanent Secretary, who is here as well, Mrs. Colette Roberts-Risden, our Professor Denzel Williams, our Principal from UWI. My CTD is here, CTD Dare Williams, and I believe CTD Jennings. I'm hearing she's here. Yes, trying to hide, but you can't hide. Our good friends, Mr. Marcelo Coutinho, our Secretary General, and also Mr. Alvaro Velarca, Secretary General as well, who, again, you're getting the full experience of Jamaica. Mr. Jamaica, otherwise called Mr. Salas Hamilton, I'm telling you, I was concerned that everyone came up and had a different experience with Mr. Salas. And when the representative from the ILO Office of the Caribbean, Ms. Joanna Henriquez, came up, I was waiting for her to say Salas in a different tone. But so let me welcome you as well from the ILO, Dr. Henry, our very esteemed Deputy Mayor, might as well call you Mayor by now, Mr. Richard Vernon, who is here, and other representatives. I saw earlier we had our prayer from Reverend Time. I'm not sure if she's still here, but we want to simply acknowledge her. To all of the chairmen and heads of the CARICOM social security organizations that are here, let me welcome you, especially ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and I believe we're also live online. So we have some persons watching virtually. I want you to know that you're acknowledged as well. If I left out anyone, please forgive me, but you're acknowledged too. Now, we were fed a while ago by Professor, and I noticed that
our MC asked me to respond. But I think that what I will do is expand and perhaps give a different perspective, which a lot of it aligns with what Professor is saying, because it is a united approach to ensuring that we are providing the social services at the standard that is required for our country and for CARICOM and for the world. Let me just say that I'm both thrilled and humbled to be here standing before you today as we convene the 31st meeting of the distinguished heads of CARICOM social security organizations. Exactly 1 year less than the separation of our permanent secretary and Salas from university. It was 32 years ago? Yes. So after what is a 3-year pause that kept us apart, it is indeed a profound honor to gather once again to weave the threads of conversation and collaboration. And Jamaica really welcomes you with open arms, all of our friends from across CARICOM that are here with us. I trust that our island's vibrant culture and the legendary hospitality have already begun to make an indelible impression on your hearts. And you're here at Hilton, who we want to thank for accommodating us. And I'm sure that they will take very good care of you. This year, as we celebrate CARICOM's golden anniversary, 50 years of service and dedication to the Caribbean community, it is a fitting moment to reflect on our journey, to honor our milestones, and to acknowledge the collective strength of institutions like the CSME, the Caribbean Single Market and Economy, and the CARICOM Agreement on Social Security. It is this very spirit of unity and shared purpose that has brought us together today. Now, this is an interesting week. I think for those of us, well, hold on. You were here during the tremor, right? You didn't feel it? Oh, well, I felt it. Believe me, I felt it. I felt all of it. And the tremors really were a reminder of our vulnerabilities and the unforeseen challenges that we face as a region. Yet in the midst of all of those trials, the significance of our work here as a collective is truly magnified. The earthquake, like much the pandemic before it, has laid bare the essential need for the robust social security systems, systems that should be designed to stand as bastions of stability when the ground shakes and the unexpected strikes. Our resilience as small island developing states is tested in these times. It is in these moments that the true strength of our social security systems will be measured, not just in the support that they offer, but in the hope that they promise. As we stand shoulder to shoulder, it is my hope that we will all renew our commitment to fortify our networks of safety and support, to prepare for the shocks and the unforeseen, just as we have learned from the lessons in the last 3 years. Jamaica's ability to quickly rebound from the COVID-19 pandemic has been due in no small part to the existence of a strong social protection policy framework, which allowed us to respond promptly and effectively to the humanitarian crisis. Our experience is no doubt shared by many of our Caribbean neighbors who are represented here today as part of the network, a network in which knowledge sharing and shared priorities have led to a coordinated regional approach to economic and social development, including a shared vision for the protection of the most vulnerable among us. The importance then of a strong social protection policy agenda to the achievement and maintenance of social stability cannot be overstated. Now, notwithstanding the gains in strengthening of our systems regionally over the past 3 to 4 decades, we do recognize, as has been said, that there remain significant gaps, and that as a region, we have much farther to go toward the attainment of a robust and comprehensive system of social security programs and initiatives. So there is work to do. I want to direct our collective minds to the challenge of ensuring the availability of adequate pool of social security resources. The sustainability of these protection systems is inextricably linked to the financial stability of our social security organizations, all of which you lead. In Jamaica, our ability to respond appropriately to the increased demand for social support to our vulnerable population during the recent crisis has been due in part to the viability of the NIS. This viability has been secured through a program of significant reforms which the NIS has been undertaking since 2019, and which has been facilitated by the support of successive government administrations. The result has been that the scheme has not only been able to avert the negative forecast which it faced, it has been placed firmly on a trajectory of significant growth. What now remains, colleagues, is for us to address the need for strengthening of the administrative arm of the scheme. And I am confident, yes I am, that the deliberations of the week will help us, will support our effort to make these changes. I want to strongly encourage our sister territories to take urgent steps towards any necessary reform measures that will ensure that our social security institutions receive the support that is needed to ensure sustainability and growth. And we would have heard Professor speak about sustainability in that context. As a region, we must continue our efforts towards ongoing reforms with a deeper focus on identifying and addressing the key causal issues that impact poverty, income insecurity, and also social exclusion. The resulting policies and interventions must directly impact the development of our human capital and employ social investment as part of our regional strategy for economic growth. I want to note that the deliberations over the past 2 days, as I'm advised, were focused largely on capacity building towards governance and investment, the digital transformation aspect as well, and coverage of the informal sector, all critical if we are to achieve these goals. Our region's labor force is characterized by high levels of informality in work arrangements. We know this. The pandemic has had the effect of further expanding the gig economy in Jamaica and other territories, as well as the emergence of the platform economy. So we must therefore continue to expand now on our efforts to promote the transitioning of our informal labor force to formality, and to continue the promotion of participation in the national insurance and similar social protection mechanisms for the protection and for the benefit of all workers and our national economies. And one of the important areas that we're also seeking to address, and which actually revealed itself as even more critical throughout the last 2 years, is the matter of unemployment insurance. We're just discussing this, Permanent Secretary. And that's a matter which we will be advancing in short order. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, colleagues, at this juncture, I want to draw our attention to the invaluable allies who stand with us on this journey of progress and resilience. The cherished partnerships that form the bedrock of our regional tapestry. Our development, international, and regional partners deserve more than mere recognition. They merit our heartfelt applause. Their unwavering commitment and shared vision have been the wind beneath our wings, propelling us forward in our quest for robust social protection across our shores. Your collective wisdom has not only enriched the discourse within this noble arena, but has also served as a catalyst for transformation. I dare say that they have helped us to forge the very tools that build our institutions here in Jamaica and the region, the policies that are advanced, and breathing life into the strategies that have helped us to weather the storms and celebrate several triumphs. For this, we stand in gratitude, and definitely we look at the legacy of support and eagerly anticipate the insights and revelations that all of the presentations that will continue will unfold. So we continue to push for the dance of collaboration. And collaboration is something which is not just a word, it must be an action word. I want to thank then, again, all of the dear partners for journeying with us. And definitely, here's to the miles that we have walked and to the several paths that we have to tread. It's been a long, long road and much more to come. We must continue in partnership and collaboration to drive for important aspects like modernization, financial literacy, financial inclusion. And I'm happy to see that these issues are an area of focus of this meeting's agenda. I note in particular yesterday's sharing of international experiences on digital transformation and the discussion on digital payments. Jamaica has and continues to embrace the use of digital payments in the delivery of our benefits with some measure of success, especially in the delivery of pensions under the NIS. And one of the things that we have done is we have, with a focus on transformation, developed within the ministry a project that will allow for us to put the necessary energy and the effort behind introducing the innovation and the technology that is required for the delivery of our services across the ministry to become optimum. From customer relations on the phone to delivering the important benefits through PATH, through NIS, whatever it is, we are working to make sure that those that we serve not only feel, but know that they are valued and they deserve the best. The National Insurance Scheme began the visionary journey of ushering our pensioners into the era of electronic payments in 2016. Now, we have a remarkable 70% of them that are receiving their pensions with the ease and security of direct bank transfers, and we hope to move that up to 100% very soon. As we press forward, our resolve remains firm to bring every last pensioner into this fold of efficiency and modernity. Now, as this gathering draws to a close, I want to just pause to celebrate the unwavering dedication of our member states. Your collective spirit is the cornerstone of our achievements. So to our valued non-regional partners as well, your steadfast support continues to fuel the success of our beloved region. A salute to CARICOM for steadfastly championing this forum, ensuring that our discourse on social protection not only continues but thrives. And I'm confident that the goals set for the meeting will not only be met but exceeded, as the wealth of shared experiences here bolsters our united response. friends, colleagues, if there was ever a moment in time when social protection was to be deemed as critical, I think it is now. I think in the recent years, we have been shown that we must prepare, we must collaborate, we must be innovative, we must connect the dots. This is an important forum and a very important meeting. I want to challenge you as I close to ensure that if you sit in this room, leave knowing everyone that you can. Don't stay at your table. Meet, connect, exchange numbers, exchange ideas, because once you're in this room, it means that you have a shared goal of seeing a stronger, more enhanced, and more sustainable system for the region. One love.
Thank you very much, Minister. We have a little job for you, so if you want, I could hold that for you. I have somebody come and collect this on your behalf. Right. I'd like to invite Mr. Salas Hamilton to the stage, please. And I hope you don't mind if I share with those persons who are here who do not know, but your father also served as a Minister of Labor and Social Security. Colonel Charles, Sr. At any moment now, we'll, yes? The significance of this is simply that the Treaty of Chaguaramas was signed, as you've heard and know, in 1973 between 4 Caribbean countries, Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago. And it was this treaty that formed CARICOM, hence we have something to celebrate. So this gift is being given to represent that moment, and also it's a gift on behalf of the government of Jamaica.
I'm shocked that we shook hands, knowing our journey. But on behalf of the CARICOM Secretary General, Dr. Carla Barnett, and the community on a whole, thanks to the ministry, thanks to the people of Jamaica, and your critical input into regional integration, not just numbers, but the fact that you are there supporting all the way. And to everyone, the participants at the meeting who come every year, and you only stopped, last one was in Guyana in 2019 for obvious reasons. Thanks for pushing and realizing that regional integration is about people, and you can't have regional integration without social security. Thanks to you all. How am I going to get to Barbados?
He's asking me, how am I going to get to the Barbados? You have it. He would have to ask me that. I'm not your teacher anymore, you know.
And thanks to the artist, Mr.
Eugene Campbell.
Eugene Campbell.
That's right. And that's you remember where the Wag Water River is? If you don't remember it, I'm sorry, I'm failing you. What parish? No, it's not written out. You ought to know. You're all over Jamaica, even when you should have in classes sometimes. What parish? Wag Water River. Go ahead. Banana grow there. Banana grows in the parish.
Portland?
Lord of mercy. Leave. Just Portland is known for excellent breadfruit, okay? No, St. Mary. And you see, Dr. Dunn is very upset that he didn't know. Oh. Anyway, friends, we are going to close off now, but of course, it's with a vote of thanks, and it gives me great pleasure to ask Mrs. Audrey Dear Williams, the Chief Technical Director, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, to move the vote of thanks.
From one Clarendon sister to another. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Master of Ceremony, Miss Faye Ellington. So what a wonderful time we've had this afternoon. I am sure that the colleagues have been energized to get on with the business of building sustainable, resilient social security organizations. We are indeed happy to have had so many distinguished persons joining us in this launch this afternoon. So bear with me a little while longer while I acknowledge them. The Honorable Colonel Charles Jr., Minister of Labor and Social Security, and my transforming minister. He's on a mission to transform the ministry, along with his Minister of State, Dr. the Honorable Norman Dunn. Our Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Colette Roberts-Risden, CD. Professor Denzel Williams, Principal, University of the West Indies, Mona. Mr. Hamilton, Salas Hamilton, Specialist in Communications, representing CARICOM. Mr. Marcelo Caetano, Secretary General of ISA, and Mr. Alvaro Velarca Hernandez, Secretary General of CIS. Joanna Henriquez, Specialist in Social Protection and Occupational Safety and Health at the ILO Office for the Caribbean. Deputy Mayor Richard Vernon. Other members of the main tables, presenters and facilitators, board chairmen and members, heads of social security organizations, and other delegates of the Caribbean, my colleague CTD Diane Jennings, heads of departments in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security and other agencies, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. It is indeed my pleasure and honor to extend the vote of thanks on behalf of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Honorable Colonel Charles Jr., Minister of Labor and Social Security, underscored the importance of Social Security as a bedrock of stability and reassurance, especially in uncertain times. His words serve as a reminder of our collective responsibility to each other and the importance of attending to matters that impact on the financial strength and fortitude of our social protection systems. Our guest speaker, Professor Denzel Williams, Principal of the University of the West Indies, Mona, for graciously accepting the invitation to be our guest speaker, especially during the graduation period and the issues that arose as a consequence of the tremor on Monday. We are very appreciative that you're here. We note your remarks, sir, regarding the critical importance of social security systems and leaving no one behind. As you said, invest today to reap the reward tomorrow. Thank you. To our PS, very important, delivering our opening remarks. Thank you, PS, for being here with us. To Joanna and Marcelo, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to bring greetings to us. This year marks the 50th anniversary of CARICOM, and we are particularly delighted that 26 years after its establishment, birth was given to the CARICOM Agreement on Social Security. Mr. Salas Hamilton, we thank you and your institution for its foresight and commitment to ensuring that throughout the Caribbean, people are able to move and not lose Social Security benefits. What a wonderful time it is when brethren meet together. In her absence, I want to thank Reverend Time for invoking the presence of the Lord. Monday's earthquake, and we will not stop talking about it anytime soon, has reminded us of how fragile human life can be. And so indeed we dare not walk alone. We say thank you to Ms. Carleen Davis for an inspiring time of praise and worship, and to the NDTC singers for a most outstanding performance. I even heard Minister Dunn singing all of the songs. Yes, thanks for that. To the musicians, sound engineers, and the technical team that has allowed the live streaming of the ceremony across the Caribbean, we say thank you. To the Hilton Rose Hall Resort and Spa and the team who has been really working hard, thank you for being an hospitable host. To our very capable Master of Ceremony, Ms. Faye Ellington, CD, thank you for guiding our proceedings this afternoon. I want to also quickly thank the team that planned the event. I know it's a lot of work. We thank you for your efforts. Special invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all for your participation and your presence in this opening ceremony of the 31st meeting of the CARICOM Heads of Social Security Organizations, as well as your unwavering commitment to the advancement of social security across our region, as we continue to strive to ensure that our social security systems are sustainable and resilient. God bless you all, and